Good afternoon, citizens of the Republic of Korea. Do you know that numerous people are suffering from brain hacking, mind control, electromagnetic torture, and stalking? Everyone, if a medium like electronic waves can be used to control people's brains at will and inflict pain, and ordinary people don't know about it, and there are no legal control, wouldn't those who are in position to use it be tempted to do so whenever they please? Wouldn't you easily become subject to such illegal weapons too? Just like thinking, I won't get COVID. There is no, I'm not affected by electronic weapons. Therefore, I stand here today as one of many victims to protect the human rights and free will of our people. Are you familiar with the MK Ultra project? This was a secret mind control experiment program conducted by the CIA during the early Cold War period. It began in 1953 and was halted after 1973. But it has since sparked controversies over human rights violations and ethical breaches, both within the United States and internationally. The project was initiated as a response to concern over brainwashing techniques allegedly possessed by the Soviet Union, China, and North Korea at the time. Its purpose was to develop methods for controlling or manipulating human behavior and sought to enhance psychological warfare and intelligence gathering capabilities. This involved research into mind control, torture, brainwashing, and interrogation techniques. The experiment involves the use of powerful hallucinogens such as LSD, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, sleep deprivation, and drug administration, and electric shocks. As a result, numerous secret experiments were conducted without the consent of the subject, causing irreversible physical and mental harm to some. In 1975, during the fourth administration, the Church Committee formed by the U.S. Congress officially exposed the existence of MK Ultra for the first time. Later, on October 3, 1995, then President Bill Clinton issued an apology regarding past human rights violations related to MK Ultra, stating, when the government does something that is wrong, we have to admit it. That is the only way to build trust for the future. What was done should never happen again. This technology has since been passed down and continuously developed as a core technology related to mind manipulation and cognitive and behavioral control. Since the 2020s, many countries have actively discussed neural rights, which are privacy rights protecting brain information. What I have just mentioned may sound like conspiracy theories, but in fact, due to advances in neuroscience, AI, electronic engineering, and military technology, these are actively researched or partially implemented in real cases. Based on this, I will explain the current status of research and development in 4 key areas. The first is brain memory hacking. This technology reads, deletes, modifies, or inserts memory stored in the brain, primarily related to hippocampal activity. Second, mind reading by analyzing the brain's electronic activity in real time. it is possible to interpret unspoken thoughts, images, intentions, and more. Third, mind control, controlling thoughts and behavior. This refers to technically inducing or manipulating brain emotions, judgment, decisions, and actions. It is one of the most ethically, politically sensitive fields. First, delivering images or and sound to the brain. It is possible to directly stimulate the brain from the external devices to induce perception similar to video or audio. Additionally, with VR and neurofeedback, sensory feedback, combined with brainwave analysis in VR environments, enables the injection of intended image or emotion. Now, I will explain the current reality of these technologies and their future development directions. The truly frightening combination is AI, neuroscience, and wireless communication. AI has advanced to the level of interpreting or predicting what a person thinks by learning brain waves patterns, visualized fMRI data, and language signals. It has reached the stage where it can predict behavior based on a person's implanted thought patterns. Recent research has announced technology that detects a person's heart rate, breathing, location, and behavioral change using Wi-Fi and MIT. YVI technology has succeeded in sensing human movement through words. This raises the question, can the brain be hacked via Wi-Fi? Have we ever thought that? Can the brain be hacked via Wi-Fi? Currently, officially, customized simulation through Wi-Fi and smart device network hacking or psychological manipulation is already partially realized, and full realization is technologically quite feasible in the near future. Next is nanomind, magnetogenetic interface for neurodynamics, developed by Korean researchers from IBS and Yonsei University. This technology, which is non-invasive and wireless, is the world's first successful example of mind control, attracting global attention. To summarize the core technology, nanomagnetic particle with nanoscale magnetism are genetically inserted into specific neuron, and when a rotating magnetic field is applied externally, the nanoparticles rotate and selectively stimulate the targeted neurons. Experimental results include inducing maternal instinct behavior in mother-deficient female mice to care for pups, enabling 100% increase or 50% decrease in appetite, and successfully increasing social affiliative behavior. Everyone, do you know that there exist numerous patents related to satellite and remote wireless network connections with the human brain, BCI. First, patent for brain-computer data communication through wireless chips, implants, and external relay devices have been steadily increasing. In addition, there are patents for brain monitoring and stimulation system using satellite-based remote transmission. Looking first at U.S. patent only and found foundational pattern for wireless brainwave communication have existed since the 1990s. Examples include as follows: satellite therapy delivery system for brain neuromodulation, a pattern for brain stimulation and sensor sensing via satellite, wireless brain-computer interface implantable, a pattern for implantable wireless brain-computer interface, neuromodulation therapy monitoring and continuous update system, a pattern for remote and clinical update system. Furthermore, looking at recent cases in China, Huawei filed a patent for method for controlling a simulator brain-computer interface system and chip, which concern the control method for a stimulator, the stimulant itself, and BCI system and its chip. In addition, Shanghai-based NeuroJazz in collaboration with the Huashan Hospital team publicly reported performing real patient trial using its self-developed 256-channel flexible implantable BCI for motor and speech decoding. By combining these technologies, the process could involve injecting or administering nanoparticles to people using nanomind technology, hacking brain via Wi-Fi, that is, using AI and neuroscience and wireless communication technology, reading thoughts, implanting thoughts, controlling behavior via brain-computer interfaces, inputting and outputting voice and visual information, monitoring past memories, inducing physical pain and illness, and controlling all 5 senses. In the near future, all company workers, all citizens, and indeed all people worldwide could be subjected to such control via Wi-Fi. If dictator, authoritarian groups, or exploitative corporations acquire these technologies and have financial resources and organization, it becomes possible. Evidence is seen in myself and many others who have become illegal test subjects, so-called Maruta, suffering brain hacking, mind control, electromagnetic torture, stalking, and other abuses. Victim groups and online communities exist, but they are often infiltrated by perpetrators aiming to disrupt these groups. Perpetrators can be found everywhere. I myself am injuring, brain hacking, mind control, and electromagnetic torture experiments at work, at home, and even from apartment neighbor living above and below me. Soon, you too could become victims, and perpetrators will soon also become victims. Now, everyone must realize this. Through this invisible technology, enslavement of all workers and citizens is a piece of cake. In countries, once this technology is advanced, enslaving the entire population will be very easy. If someone like Hitler emerges anywhere in the world, acquiring this technology along with AI, Wi-Fi, and supercomputers, it will not be impossible to enslave not only their own citizens, but people worldwide. Let me imagine from the perspective of malicious corporations or authoritarian ruler, how they would virtually plan the enslavement of workers and citizens. This way, we can be prepared. First, for an exploitative large corporation, they would contact intelligence agency and collaborate to obtain these technologies. Next, they would secretly mix nanoparticle or nanorobot into food served at the company cafeteria and have workers regularly consume them without their technology. Then the company install dedicated Wi-Fi throughout the workplace to synchronize individual via Wi-Fi and the nano-robot through brain-computer interfaces on computers. They would monitor thoughts, hack memories, control thought and behavior, and in worst cases, induce diseases. Initially, they enslave executive and those in key positions, then target militant labor union, followed by problematic employees, and finally the entire workforce. We are just a snap of fingers. The malicious employer can enslave and control all workers. That would eliminate all labor management conflicts permanently. Anyone who speaks out or resists would be isolated or subject to electromagnetic torture, disease induction, or mind control to prevent rebellion. In the case of a nation dictator or authoritarian political party, they could apply this to the entire population. They would conclude with food companies who insert nano-robots into processed food or collaborate with vaccine companies to include nano-robot in vaccines. These substances wouldn't be detectable in standard blood tests. They would then partner with telecommunication companies to synchronize the entire population via Wi-Fi and later through smartphone as well. By connecting all of these to a supercomputer and BCI, they could control the entire nation. During election, they could force people to vote for a particular individual or party, securing permanent rule. This would effectively eliminate the possibility of mass public protest. Think carefully. Why do you think this technology is being developed and tested on so many illegal human guinea pigs? Before it's too late, we must expose everything and enact laws to regulate and control the entire field of technology. If we hesitate even for a moment, everyone will become slaves. To those inflicting these sufferings, your children will also be subjected to the same fate. If you are left down, finding this entertaining, know that there is no time to be amused. There is not much time left. As AI technology advances, the time we have left decreases proportionally. Most of the remaining technologies are already complete. The proof is people like me illegal test subject. I currently work at Business Planning Department in HD Hyundai Heavy Industries in Ulsan. In 2018, the company ordered me to be dispatched to Shanghai, China for 6 months. However, I had to return after just 3.5 months due to being subjected to electromagnetic torture. About 2 months into my stay in Shanghai, I began to experience electromagnetic torture from someone living in the hotel room above mine. I endured the pain as long as I could and returned after 3.5 months. The company spread the humor that I had returned due to homesickness. Even now, after returning from Shanghai, I am still being subjected to electromagnetic torture by a man named Seo who lived in the apartment above mine. The same kind of attack I have suffered in Shanghai in 2018. At times, he has shot high energy waves at my skin, causing frequent damage, and my head feels very heavy and achy. I have been hit in my eye while sleeping, waking up in severe pain. Now let me talk about the main type of harm that many victims, not just myself, are experiencing. The first is short surveillance. Since returning from Shanghai in 2018 until now, at work, teams have been monitoring me. For example, if I'm thinking, should I take a train or drive to Seoul tomorrow, someone nearby will say out loud, traffic will be bad to Seoul tomorrow, either while talking to themselves or on a phone call. When I get up to go to the restroom, people stationed along the hallway, as if they knew in advance, rotate in and confront me with specific behavior or words. And recently, they have been indirectly talking to each other as if they wanted me to hear talking, taking turns all day long, making all kinds of threats. They say things so unspeakable that only heinous criminal could utter them. It feels like I am under total siege. They try to interfere with and control everything I do. The second is visual surveillance. Even when I am at work, at home, or outside in areas with no one around, people somehow know what I saw. They either mention it next day or call me in real time and speak as if they are watching my surroundings. This is visual data hacking. The third is thought manipulation. This includes psychological manipulation, subconscious manipulation, and emotion and feeling manipulation. When thought manipulation occurs, it resonates and synchronizes with the brain, often causing headaches. When brain memory is hacked, I feel lethargic or sleepy. Most mornings when I arrive at the office and I sit at my desk, I feel foggy-headed for around 30 minutes. Sometimes when I turn around unconsciously like this, I see signs or posters with words related to my thoughts or concerns. At work, it often happens that I suddenly, of interest to others. The fourth is behavior control. While traveling from Ulsan to Changwon on a busy street, I was manipulated to turn the steering wheel, which caused the tire to blow on the highway divider. I have even been controlled while sleeping. When I cursed the perpetrators silently, I was made to slap myself in my head with my stretched hand like this. The fifth is hallucinogens, visual, auditory, and olfactory. One night, I saw a geometric hallucination, a square white shape. I have also heard voices as if someone had a specific purpose, criticizing or limiting me. Physical torture has continued since 2018, both from So Yeon-suk, who live upstairs, and others around the apartment at my workplace. I suffered persistent headaches and chest pain. Men are also tortured through prolonged forced erection. I have heard that female victims suffer sexual electromagnetic torture. The perpetrators and those who give the orders do not see the victims as human beings. This is something I have personally experienced. During the same period that I have subjected to brain hacking, mind control, my computer and mobile phone were hacked every single day, both at work, at home. Stalkers followed me relentlessly, harassing me without pause. While working on Excel document, I would see the cursor move on its own. Letters and numbers change, and important files disappear. Despite filing multiple reports and complaints with the police, nothing was done. I often lamented that I could not breathe under the protection of the law. People like me, called TIs in international terms, targeted individual. There is a Naver Cafe online community for victims like me that has 4,597 members, and there are several other similar communities. Since 2018, I have submitted dozens of complaints and reports to every relevant institution in South Korea about these crimes. However, not a single investigation or face-to-face inquiry has been conducted. Why? Because there are no relevant laws in this country. In the U.S. Congress, Dennis Kucinich from Richmond proposed the Space Preservation Act in 2001, which prohibits this type of technology. In Russia, on July 26, 2001, federal law number 103 was enacted, banning the use of non-lethal weapons that cause psychological or physical harm, including electromagnetic waves and infrared, ultrasound, and infrasound. I will now show you photos and other material related to this matter I mentioned earlier. This photo shows infant and younger subjects of MK Ultra project. Below this is newspaper article about the MK Ultra project that was carried out by the CIA. And this is the photo, which is of a female victim whose face and entire body suffered skin burn caused by electromagnetic weapons. In addition, this illustration is an example diagram of an electromagnetic weapon. And these photos are purchased around the world in both Eastern and Western countries against the use of electromagnetic weapon. Here is a protest in Japan and all over the world. And here is even a protest taking place in front of the UN building. Furthermore, this is the text of the U.S. Space Preservation Act of 2001, which proposed a ban of use of electromagnetic weapon and mind control weapon and weather modification weapon. And this is also a Russian law enacted in 2001, which prohibits the use of non-lethal weapons that negatively affect the human mind and body, including electromagnetic, ultrasonic, and infrasound weapons, as well as devices and means that influence the human nervous system and psychological state. They are subject to criminal and administrative penalty if used illegally. And this is a record of tens of complaints and petitions I have filed with National Human Rights Commission and the Prosecutor's Office and Ministers of Justice, the police, the National Grievance Centers, and other authorities. So, now you should be able to see clearly that the existence of the brain hacking and mind control and electromagnetic torture do exist. I do not know exactly how many people or what percentage of the population nationwide or even within my company are being subjected to brain hacking, mind control, electromagnetic torture, and stalking. However, a tremendous number of people are suffering from these kinds of harm. Do you know that why God allowed both God and evil to coexist in this world? Because He granted us the greatest gift, free will, so we could choose between the two. But those forces of evil are trying to steal our free will and place it under their feet. Will you just sit back and watch until you become a slave? Let me join hands and rise together. We must raise up a world that is falling into ruin by raising public awareness and making a topic of public discussion. We can establish law to control electromagnetic weapons, which can prevent those recognizing the problem is the first step to solve this critical crisis. Together, we can stop this. Let's hold hand and go forward. Thank you for your attention.